Okay, good evening, everyone. We're here for the regular council meeting of November 20th. And we will go with introductions and jump right into it. And then once we get to the public hearing section, I will explain how the order of the public hearings will work. So we have with us Councillor Joel Lemoine. Good evening. Councillor Shane Pelletier. Evening. CEO Mitch Duval. Evening. Myself, Chris Ewan. Good evening. Councillor Janine Belanger.
Good evening, everyone.
Councillor Jason Bodnerchuk. Good evening. And our Assistant CAO Dominic Lemoine.
Good evening.
Perfect. So without further ado, I will go right into it. So item number 1, meeting called to order. Do I have a mover? Councillor Shane Pelletier, second. Councillor Joel Lemoine. Comments before we open the meeting? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried 5-0. The meeting at 7:01 p.m. Item 2, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a mover? Councillor Jason Bodnerchuk, second. Councillor Janine Belanger. Just a quick change. We are removing 8.4 from the agenda today. That will be moved to a later date. Council's good with that change. Anything else? We're good as proceeding in the order as given to us tonight. Pretty short. Yep. Okay. Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 3, adoption of minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Belanger.
Last regular council meeting was held November 5th, whereby Recreation made a presentation. At that point, they recommended to renew the TC Energy lease agreement, which council did. Also, a bunch of policies were updated. The RCMP also had a delegation. Council gave readings to 2 bylaws and also awarded the garbage and recycling contract.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Council, any comments or questions before we vote on it? Changes, edits? No. Okay, call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Item 4, committee reports and minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bodnerchuk, second. Councillor Pelletier.
Reports submitted by our member at large, Curtis Clayton, regarding the Community Futures Triple Council's review.
Thank you. Council, any comments, questions on the reports? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Item 5.1, accounts paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Belanger.
One batch of paid to be approved, batch 19401 in the amount of 8,500.
Comments from council? Nothing. Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried 5-0. Thank you. 5.2, accounts not paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bodnerchuk, second. Councillor Belanger.
3 batches, 19407 in the amount of 3,400 for tax refund, 19408 in the amount of 18,000, a bunch of EFTs, and batch number 19409 in the amount of 4.8 million. There's a summary for the 4.8 million provided to council. 4.4 of that is the school taxes that we need to remit by the end of November, which is a combination of 81% of the taxes that we have collected already.
Perfect. Council, comments, questions? No. Okay, call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried 5-0. Thank you. 5.3, payroll to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Payroll 22, a little bit of overtime for the administration area and a little bit of administration overtime for the public works regarding some drainage works being done. With the recent rains, we'll see that slow down for a bit until the snow hits, and then you know what happens.
Thank you. Comments from council? Question?
I don't see any OT for staff on that, or admin, just on public works.
There's hours that are banked, so that's also what I would consider.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my mistake.
As
Okay.
overtime, so banked new hours.
Perfect. Nothing else? Okay, call for the question. All those in favor? Carried 5-0. Thank you. Okay, moving into the public hearings process. So just a quick rundown on how it's going to work this evening. For when we call out an item, pardon me, I will call the item out as described on the agenda, and then the CEO will take over, give his spiel, and then I will open the public hearing at such time and ask if the applicant or anyone making presentation would like to come up and make the presentation towards council. After that is done, I will ask if there's anyone wishing to speak in favor, in person, on the phone, or online. If you're online or on the phone, please unmute your microphone, turn off your video if you can. Turn on your video if you can, please. And then you will have your time to talk. And then after that, I will keep going until we're done with there. And then I will ask if there's anything received in person. And then I will go to anyone wishing to speak against, in person, online, on the phone. Same things. Please unmute your microphone and turn on your screen if you can. And then I will ask if there's anything received against. And then I will do one last call. Any general comments, questions, anyone wishing to just ask questions about the proposal or the application. Then I will close the public hearing. At that time, it is for council only to debate and discuss the application of the item, and then we go from there. So without further ado, 6.1.1 B15 2024 Thomas and Swanee Landry, Lot 6, Plan 13974.
The proposal is to vary the location of a detached accessory building in front of a dwelling. The minimum front yard distance requirement for that is from 75 feet to 15 feet for the purpose of building a 10 by 20 shed in a RR rural residential zone.
Thank you. I'll open the public hearing at 7:07 p.m. Is the applicant here or someone wishing to make a presentation?
I'm here, Tom Landry.
Come on up, Tom. Janine said to me, she wanted to wait for Tom. I said, I'm pretty sure that's Tom back.
I'm like a chameleon. I change all the time. Hello, council. Nice to see you again.
Take it away if you got something specific or if you want to just ask questions.
Yeah, basically, I just want to put, we're busting out at the seams at our house with 2 kids and everything, and just need more storage. The reason I'm trying to vary where I'd like to put the shed is backing onto the river. There's some years where the river will come up just to the back of our deck. So using our backyard isn't the best place to go. Front yard, we have a little forested area, and I'd like to be on the back side of that. Just aesthetically, it's great for me because it's just the way you plan your yard. I've gone around and done a little petition to all the people that were highlighted on the map. And there were no objections, so all the neighbors signed the petition that were on the list. I spoke to a few other people in the neighborhood, and some of them didn't even know we had to get a variance to put sheds in our yards.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so basically it's just the way my yard is. It looks like a big yard, but kind of typically I'm side yard predominant just because of the river, and then the way the ditch is in the front of my yard, it's quite low on my yard side because Carrier Road was there before I was. We've got a bit of a forest in the front, and to build up for the shed on my house side of the lot would create flooding in that area, which would drown that little forest, which I don't want to do.
Right.
So ideally, the place that I'm asking to vary is absolutely the best spot. It's all surrounded in trees. I'm not trying to put a thumb out to not be aesthetically pleasing to anyone. I do have pictures that I printed out if you guys would like to have a look.
Pass it down to Councilor Wayne. You can pass it over there. Thank you. Oh, you brought enough for everyone. Wow.
Yeah,
Very.
it's rare. It's rare. You know that.
Me too, me too.
So the first picture, so the first page is just the petition that I had. Those are the people that are on the list. Joel and Jen. So across the river, there were some properties that were highlighted, but there's no one there to knock at their doors. Joel and Jen are at the end of our street and they're building there, so they signed not opposed. The first picture that I have printed off there is looking from Carriga Road towards the lot. Years ago, I planted those pine trees and they're massive now, like probably 18 to 20 feet or so. And the shed will be going right behind that. So it's, I mean, it's blocked. It's not like it's gonna stand out or be unappealing. The other picture is from the other side, my yard side, which shows all the other trees that I've planted. I've planted well over 100 trees in my yard. And so, yeah, it's just not gonna be an eyesore for anyone or anything.
I appreciate the
Um,
extra detail.
Also, this just shows that it's a picture, like it's a picture from my driveway as well. So on the application, it's kind of deceiving. It shows that that lot, I've got the two lots and it looks quite far away, but it's just my yard.
Yeah.
There's a line there, but it's my yard.
I appreciate the extra information. Council, do you have questions for Mr. Landry?
No, I have just a comment. At first I was concerned about it being close to the road, but seeing the tree cover and understanding how your yard falls into the river. And also I understand that you have to be 100 feet back from the river.
Yeah.
To build anything. And so if you go 75 feet back from the road, you've got nothing. You're overlapping.
I'm actually,
Jurisdiction.
yeah, it's just, I'd have to have a paper thin shed.
And the shed, you've got pictures or do you have the shed? Just,
I do. It's just one of the Horizon sheds that you see on the side of the highway.
and it's just portable, right? Like,
Yeah, it's ready built.
right.
So it's a nice shed. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's not like a pallet shed or anything like that. It's brand new and ready to go.
Not a sea can.
Yeah, it's not a sea can.
No, I think I'm good.
You mentioned road levels, road height compared to your yard, so you're building this up as,
So where I want to put the shed is actually, so my house, I had to build up for flood levels. And this was the next highest part of my yard.
higher than the road?
Well, it's about level with the road, so everything kind of slopes down. I can show you quickly one other picture that I have, just to show you how much it slopes in a short distance. So it's kind of dark in the picture, but I have over on this side here, it's a 2x6, just retaining some gravel. And then by the time we get to the end, towards the
You're at
fourth,
that
it's
height. Okay.
almost a foot and a half. So it's all sloping down into that area and there's a natural swale that goes to the ditch. So if I blocked it on the other side of the trees, it would just flood the trees.
Just back to the comment with the trees, if you're building at house level or whatever, you're gonna see the whole thing.
Yeah, not at all. That first picture that shows from Carriga Road, there's a 5-foot fence, but it's got kind of scallops that go to 4 feet. And then there's the trees. So really it'll just be the black roof that's visible.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much, Tom. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you.
Is there anyone here wishing to speak in favor, in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received in favor?
Nothing received.
Anyone wishing to speak against in person, online, or on the phone?
Just want to speak of it.
Sure, come on.
I don't have any copies for everybody. My name is Rennie Bernier, and I reside at 1985 Hintz Road in Grand Point. I've owned that property and resided there since 1987. And although Carriga Road had been terminated before I ever became familiar with Grand Point, I've been able to witness the changes to that property over the years, from the elderly bachelor that owned it at the time, the fire that destroyed his old shack, assisting the RM in the cleanup of his property after the fire, the flood of the Century 97, the creation of the adjacent drainage diversion, and the subsequent ownership changes culminating with Mr. Tom Landry. The Carriga Road extension to the river was always viewed as a public access route, just not for regular vehicles. When Tom bought the property from the Filipino owners, and I do have to apologize because I don't know the names, all I just knew was that they were a Filipino nationality, so that's how I refer to it. He had subdivided into 2 lots, and both lots are slightly smaller than a 2-acre minimum requirement. So I'm going to assume that he would have applied for a variance from the RM for his subdivision. And that's just an assumption. A legal survey for the property would have been required, and his property would not have included the Kariga Road extension portion. If there would have been a right-of-way portion of land as a result of the Kariga Road closure, there should have existed a separate roll number and certificate of title for that portion. At the very least, when the drain was built, legal surveying should have indicated that there would have been a separate parcel of the road lines. The most current version of the Manitoba Assessment Online Map, and that's the ArcGIS 2023 site, that shows all the property boundaries and their roll numbers and their assessment information, has never reflected any separate parcel of property for the Kariga Road extension as what is being indicated on Mr. Landry's application. Their official map still shows that property as road allowance and therefore should be considered public access. Legal ownership of property requires that a valid and current certificate of title exists. That means that a legal survey certificate must also exist. A legal survey certificate or parcel designation does not seem to exist as of December 23, at least not according to the official Manitoba Assessment Branch. Therefore, when Mr. Landry purchased a parcel of land from the Filipino owners, he could not lay claim to also purchasing the adjacent parcel in question. He may have had right of access to the property, but that does not constitute a right of ownership. Mr. Landry has maintained and developed that portion of the property ever since he developed his own lot, as if it was an extension of his yard. Quite some time ago, yes, he even built a wooden fence along the supposed property lines. That has permanently prevented any public access to a parcel of land that was still being indicated as a public right-of-way. If a legal land description and legal survey certificate exists now, when was it created? And who created it? If it existed then, why has it never been reflected on the Manitoba assessment map, his property assessments, or his property tax bill? If it is a very recent creation, why would public access land be given up to private ownership? One would believe that this would have to be an RM-approved transaction. If so, when did it occur and who approved it? As far as Mr. Landry's application for a setback variance, it wouldn't matter to me, and I would not object to it. But I do object to any development that is on land that he may not rightfully own. Until such time that this RM Council has done their complete due diligence regarding the history of this parcel of land, the legal survey certification, Mr. Landry's claim to ownership, and the legitimacy of each step in between, it is the responsibility of this council to turn down Mr. Landry's application for the variance and to put on hold any building permits that have been issued. It should also be highly recommended that once the RM has acquired all the pertinent information regarding this parcel of land, that the RM repost Mr. Landry's notice of hearing variation application so that all interested parties may be fully informed with the facts. And this is all because I have not seen any evidence at all that a parcel of land there, a separate title or whatever, ever existed other than a road access right of way. So now, maybe somebody can enlighten me on some of the findings that my observations haven't picked up on.
Well, after our meeting, the GPHA, we discussed that. I did come to staff to discuss all the legalities and to make sure all the paperwork and find out the history of that parcel. And that's when I informed GPHA of the facts of that purchase. I had seen the documents. Now maybe I can ask Mr. CAO to verify those findings. There is a status of title, I understand.
Do it now?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, when the applicant came to us regarding this, request for variation, of course, we looked at the maps. And you are correct, there's no evidence indicating that that belonged to Mr. Landry. So having said that, the applicant then brought forward a certificate of title that had his name and the land description of that parcel. And it seemed to have been registered at land titles, all was good. So what we did at our end is we investigated a little bit further. So that portion of road, that little lot 6, it was closed back in 1977. And it was a bylaw 21-77, which closed that portion of road. So over the years, I guess it was a misconception that that was still public access, but in fact, it was actually closed and transferred over to the adjacent landowner at the time.
Back in 1970 something?
1977 was the bylaw, and in 1978, June 1st, 1978, Plan 13971 was registered at land titles. So that tells me that Mr. Landry is the owner. It just, for some reason, in 1978, never made its way to the assessment branch. Some form of miscommunication between the province, not at the RM, on the province right underneath the bus here, that there was no transfer done from 77 and all the landowners in between up to Mr. Landry. So yes, has not been paying taxes on it, but we'll get him on this shed.
Well, no, that's, yeah, no,
Right, so that's the history of
okay.
what it is.
So if that portion had been transferred over to Mr. Landry's property, you say back in 79, let's say, that portion, did it ever have a separate survey and a separate roll number, and it just never got registered at land titles?
Correct. The legal,
So when,
the legal description for that parcel, and it's Plan 13971.
and that existed in 1979 for sure, not of a new current,
In 1979, not correct.
okay. So,
And we found the bylaw in the history of the RM also saying that it was a closed portion transferred to
so
the
then,
name.
okay, so the subsequent ownership to where Mr. Landry purchased the property. The property that he would have purchased would have had defined boundaries, but would not have included that parcel then. If there was a certificate of title that was never registered for there, his parcel
Was
would be
registered. There's a certificate of title. So what's missing is the assessment piece portion with the mapping. So that somehow is where, I guess, the misconception was.
So if that did exist then, when Mr. Landry bought the property and subdivided it, why then would he have had to subdivide his parcel into 2 smaller than 2-acre parcels? Because he would have had larger area than
I'm
4
not
acres.
aware of a subdivision happening at his time.
Because it had been one parcel, and I know Mr. Landry would have subdivided it. And both those parcels are still only 1.94 acres each, slightly less than a 2-acre requirement. So if that land would have been included in Mr. Landry's purchase, would clearly have been over a 4-acre parcel.
Are you talking the subdivision of the lands to the south, which now belong to Mr. Batcan?
And Mr. Belkin, yes.
Okay.
That and Mr. Landry, because he
Well,
subdivided.
at some point, again, I'm not a land surveyor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm only telling you what research I've done. And from what I've gathered, I'm 99% convinced that somewhere down the line, there was a miscommunication and the owners at the time just kept selling it. And now Mr. Landry has title to not only the house, but also that little closed portion of road that was done back in 1978.
So when the drainage went in after the flood of 97, because it skirted the entire roadway of Kariga Road all the way to the river and all that, obviously there would have been a legal survey done at that time. Would that legal survey have picked up on the existence of that parcel of land?
Yes, and basically that's my next step is to find that legal survey for the drainage plan, because there is about 110 feet north adjacent to the property line that belongs to no one, that belongs to the municipality. So I just have to locate that drainage plan. I've looked at plans from 1937, 1978. So it's a little bit of a mess, but we're getting there. But for tonight, for the application, I'm 100% convinced that it's his property.
Because I know I don't have permission to speak on behalf of the GPHA. I'm just a member there, but I did not consult him on my application here. All I know is that for the longest time, it was in their plans to try develop or have through the RM or whatever, develop an access across the river at that point, or river access, because it was always deemed as public access. And so you're saying now that that opportunity does not exist and that it is in fact a private land.
On the closed portion of the road, yes, there's still this drainage plan to the north.
Yes, that drain.
So
Yeah, I know,
then,
but-
if the municipality is looking at doing a pathway system, a bridge across the river, I think that's perfectly fine. We could use that land. As long as we don't interfere with the drainage, then all should be kosher.
Well, I'm thoroughly disappointed that in all these years, that parcel of land would have been deemed owned by Mr. Landry, and somehow nobody has recognized it, or nobody has paid taxes on it or reflected in their assessments whatsoever. And it's disappointing at this point in time, because something just seems to be pointing me in a different direction. So.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Is there anyone else wishing to speak against, in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received against? Did you?
Nothing received against.
Okay, one last round. Anyone online, on the phone, or in person wishing to make any general comments, ask any questions, speak in favor or against? Now close the public hearing at 7:29 PM. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second Councillor Belanger.
Resolution reads, therefore be resolved that variation application V15-2024 is approved with the following conditions: that the applicant must obtain a building permit from the Arm of Reach Out office for the proposed building.
Thank you. Council debate discussion.
Just a quick question again. Is it part of the building permit for the elevation flood, or is it because it's a accessory building that could be moving?
No, because Grand Point is within the flood protected area, there's no requirement for a flood elevation permit.
Okay, thanks. Anything else from council? Nothing?
No, I'm good with it.
Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried 5-0. Thank you. Moving on to. I'll give it a minute if anyone wants to leave now or if they want to stay for the rest of the meeting. You're welcome to. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tom.
I see you.
Okay, 6.1.2 V16 2024 101388518 Manitoba LTD 420 Main Street.
The proposal is to vary the minimum front yard distance requirement from 30 feet to 20 feet for the purpose of a 7-plex multifamily unit in the RG8 residential general 8,000 zone.
Thank you. I will open the public hearing at 7:31 PM. Is there anyone wishing to make presentation or the applicant wishing to speak online, on the phone or in person? They're online.
Yes, that's me. This is Johan Fuchs here. Yeah, we had a difficult encounter in that area, and because of the one graveyard we found on that property line, we are kind of forced to move the building a bit over. That's like the main thing that we had for this.
Perfect. Thank you, John. Council, do you have any comments or questions to ask Mr. Fuchs? No. Okay. Thank you very much, Johan. I appreciate it. Is there
Yeah,
anyone?
sorry guys, I'm a bit sick today. That's why I couldn't attend in person, but try my best here.
Appreciate it.
You know, you stay there. That's fine.
I figured.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone wishing to, pardon me, is there anyone wishing to speak in favor, in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received in favor?
Nothing received?
Anyone wishing to speak against, in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received against?
Nothing received against?
Any final comments or questions from anyone in person, online, or on the phone? General statements, speaking in favor or against? Come on up, sir.
Council, I'm David Boscheli. I sit on the board of directors for the St. Adolph Roman Catholic Church, which our neighbors is Johan at the moment. I just wanted to kind of thank everybody, obviously, to be here. One thing that we went through a little bit of an exercise to have to re-demise the property line that exists right now. And we had a little bit of a kerfunkle, try to find out where the exact graves are, and as far as how the new property line went into the old cemetery. And of course, we had the province involved with looking at everything with a fine-tooth comb, which was really appreciated, and appreciated Johan as well to patiently go through the entire exercise. We're just wondering, is once the property, and I'm hoping that Johan gets his approval to have his development underway, but for where the fence line and all that gets devised, what are the steps that we need to go through to make sure that the proper, say like the property line goes? What do we do and who do we speak to kind of get that sorted out?
Sure, I'll pass it on to Mr. CEO.
So I've seen this over the years that people tend to assume where their property lines are, and then all of a sudden they get a legal land surveyor involved and find out that, the trees I planted, which I thought was on my property, is actually 10 feet over on my neighbor's property. And I've seen that time and time again. So that's why it's very important to get a legal land surveyor involved earlier than later. Because I think from what I've seen on site, and I've gone there multiple times to see it for myself, is that the original fence was kind of not at the right location, and it kind of took the grave as part of the church's cemetery. But then upon Mr. Fuchs' development application, had it surveyed, and then I found out all of a sudden that one or more graves were actually on the developer's land, then that's where the municipality does not get involved into inter-neighbor disputes, but we'll try to assist as best as we can, and we'll continue to do so as best as we can.
Yeah.
So I think moving forward with Mr. Johann's project here, I think we still work in cooperation, trying to work together and doing the right thing as far as putting the fence, I would not say right on the correct property line, but maybe where the old property line was. But really, it's up to the two of you to figure that out.
Right. Okay, no, I appreciate that. We've had the province suggest to obviously work between us and Johann, because they gave us like 3-4 options, and it's all on a big email. I know time is money here. So, the first option is so that we have an amicable sort of relationship where he gives back to the parish where the property line used to be, where the old fence ran. And of course, that is something that was always there. And where the property, like the notch, kind of like a sawtooth kind of design, and that takes over the cemetery area, is irregular, because obviously it overtakes graves, clearly 2 that we know of, and that's where the landscaping kind of ended, because Sayuko, I believe her name is, from the province, suggested like, we're not going to go there because we already know there's remains there, and thank God for that. So otherwise, there's expenses that are put upon the new landowner, which would be Johann, to overtake exhuming and all those costs, which are ludicrous costs. And it's kind of like, what's the easiest path way forward? So I'm hoping that in the next coming months, myself and Johann will each kind of get surveyors and, I guess, legal, what do you call it? Like legal titles of the land get switched and so on. It's just a little bit
Clean things up.
Yeah, because I know we're all volunteers, and we just want to have and make sure that we're respecting, the remains of those passed before us, and just kind of get this all kind of sorted out. And so best wishes to Mr. Johann. Thank you for all your time. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me. I figured I would just say something.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I don't think there's anything for me, council. Anything?
And if I could make one comment before, and Johann, please correct me, the whole purpose of this variation is to try to get that building away from that little corner.
Yeah.
Hence why 10 feet might buy a lot of
Well, he'd be losing
respectful
of
property.
course. Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, if I can add to it a bit here, that's the main purpose, Mitch, correct, thank you for that. Also to Mr. David there, I was trying to reach out, I think I tried to reach out to you or someone else twice or 3 times. I left messages because I want to meet in person and discuss this further. I have not received a call back yet I wasn't sure if I tried to contact you or someone else, but I think it was a guy named Dave I contacted twice. That's the whole purpose of moving this building over a bit to gain 10 feet so we can have more options in how to resolve this issue. The biggest thing is that, with this building moving over a bit, we gain more space and we can have some stuff kind of, get back to the church. Some piece of land that will then not interfere with us, but then there's the legal aspect of it and costs and stuff associated with this. And that's what we have to discuss. And that's why I kind of reached out to you guys, but no one has, got back to me as of yet. But I am still open to discuss this further. And that's like the main whole purpose of this kind of variation, to gain a bit more footage, some space, and, gives us some more options how we can finish this issue amicably, and so both parties are happy and we can respectfully keep the the girl there rest in peace as it was before.
Yeah, no, well, I'll be reaching out to you, Johan. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you
And,
you see my information on the fence. Whoever is in charge in your board there, whoever is able to speak, please contact me again and let's have a meeting set up and we can meet on site and discuss things further. Especially if the issues of the financial side of it, if we have to now rezone some stuff or kind of cut back and land title issue costs and so on. That was the whole purpose of my call to you guys to discuss this.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Jim. Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Where will let's see against?
You're at the against, yeah.
Nothing against?
You were at the against, yes.
There anything received against?
Nothing received?
Final comments? Anyone wish to make any final comments, ask any questions, speak in favor or against, in person, on the phone or online? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at 7:41 PM. Do I have a mover? Councillor one, second, Councillor Pelletier.
Resolution would read, therefore be resolved that variation application V16-2024 is approved with the following conditions: that the applicant must obtain a building permit from the RM Reach Out office for the proposed building.
Council debate, discussion. Anything to add?
No, it's just nice seeing that they're working together to keep this moving and both sides are, yeah, it's nice to see that. It's good for the community for sure.
Thank you. Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That is carried. Thank you. You guys are welcome to leave now if you want. Anyone else participating in this? Thank you. Give you 30 seconds unless you want to watch the show. Thank you, Johan. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for the RM to helping out in this matter and be the mediator. I appreciate that.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Okay, 6.1.3 V17 2024 1587935 Canada Inc. 961 Quest Boulevard.
The proposal is to vary the minimum front yard distance requirement from 125 feet to 95 feet for the purpose of building an addition in a CH highway commercial zone.
I will open the public hearing at 7:43 PM. Is there anyone wanting to make a presentation or the applicant wishing to speak in person, online, or on the phone? Yes, yeah. Come back.
Hello, Council. My name is Iman. We just recently purchased a commercial lot on Ileshane. It used to be used as an auto body shop, and I own a car sales, car dealership sales for 3 years. So I came to this location and I'm planning to expand my business. But unfortunately, there is no office up front. There is one small office for 6 feet there, 5 feet, and there is no restroom for customers, nothing. So the only way I can build a very convenient and welcoming environment for the customers is just moving a little bit forward up to the 3 feet. It's only 3 feet up front, but it's like as a curve, it goes back to 120 feet on the sides. So that's why I'm here, and the building already built, so it's a heated floor. So there is no way I can add another restroom inside the shop because I can't bust it out the concrete. So I need to extend the building, and this is the plan. Sorry, it's the first time I'm in the council. I don't have enough.
We have a copy of that. We have a copy.
You do? Okay, awesome. And another point, my neighbors on the side, it says Stairs Factory. They have a 45 feet setback, and on the north side is like as a greenhouse, and they are a 75 feet. And I read according to the RM DH commercial, if it's an automobile repair shop, I need to have only 45 feet. But for the farm rental or automobile rental or sales, it's 125 feet. And my plan in the future is getting the MPI certified shop as well. So it's gonna use as a car sale and MPI certified shop. It's a kind of automobile repair. So I don't know which category I'm gonna be in, but for now we are using as a auto body shop and auto sale, but in the future it will be MPI certified shop. So yeah, it will create more harmonic environment even, so it's sitting way far. So if I can approve that variance, it would be appreciated.
Council, do you have any comments or questions for the applicant?
So just to clarify, so the purpose of the existing building is to do whatever the cells you want, but your near future isn't to expand and build other facilities, it's just to, within the walls, do something kind of work?
Yeah, this is the plan right now.
Yeah.
So can I come?
Sorry, you were.
This is the existing building right now.
Yeah.
So they already set up a paint booth, spraying machine, so there is not enough room. This is the only small office I have it right now. And there is very noisy, even the customer wants to come, with just lots of noise. So my proposal plan is coming a little 30 feet forward. So it's gonna be a receptionist, showroom, and it will go to 120 feet in the size. Just give me a couple of room for the office. And I'm gonna add another restroom here because this is the heated floor and I'm able to bust it out the concrete. So I need to extend a little more because if I do use one, bust it out. And the neighbor on each side, they only have
Yep.
and the noise is 5. So
Just a comment about the washroom, and I have no objections to you wanting to put a washroom in your showroom in your office. I think that's a great idea. But you could get macerating toilets, so you don't have to bust out concrete.
yeah,
Like you
so
could put something in the shop if you wanted to in the future without having to. bust
in the
out
shop, I
concrete.
already have a restroom right now, but this is for the employee.
Okay,
So, but for the customer, it has to be more cleaner,
Yeah, exactly.
less dust or something. So I need to build another one for the customers. And there was some room for the salesman, receptionist, and in the future, I'm planning to get the MPI certificate maybe next year. So it will be kind of auto mechanic shop, not a auto sales.
Did you have anything? No.
I've been in the building and yeah, there is no office space there. It's quite tight.
Right now, I'm in a camper.
Yes.
Using a camper in the office.
it's gonna get
drive
cold
by-
pretty soon.
I like to drive by to see what your progress is. You're doing some nice work in the front there with your cement berm going around on the front.
Yeah, that's for the foundation for the metal panel fence.
Yeah.
So we're gonna work like I said.
Is there any plan to do any of that around the back on the highway side? To
I
kind
don't
of,
have any plan right now, but I'm gonna do the same fence in the back, but not building a building. More building, but it will be similar fence by the highway.
okay, so that will be closed off a little bit.
Yeah.
You kind of gave me a scare when there was 150 cars there overnight.
I asked her too, but
Yeah, no, appreciate it. It's, looking forward to it.
thank you.
Anything else from council? Well, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor, in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received in favor?
Nothing received.
Anyone wishing to speak against, in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received against?
Nothing received against.
Last call, anyone wishing to speak in favor, against, make general comments or questions, online, on the phone, or in person? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at 7:50 PM. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second Councillor Belanger. Thank you.
Resolution would read, therefore be resolved that variation application V17-2024 is approved with the following conditions. Applicant must obtain a building permit from the Arm of Richard office for the proposed addition.
Thank you. Council debate, discussion, anything to add, any comment on? No? Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that is carried. Thank you very much.
Now you could say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we are out of the public hearings. We are moving on to 8.1, bylaw 4, 2024 fire suppression first reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor LeBlanc.
So this has been in the works for a while. The assistant has been working on the fire bylaw, trying to make it look and match with our website as well, so that way everything coincides. It's quite a lengthy bylaw, so give it a good read. This is first reading. The bylaw also comes with the maps of the affected areas in the communities. So let's just start moving on it, and then hopefully we could have a good fire suppression bylaw for 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Seal. Okay, council, open up for debate, discussion. First reading, just to get it going, or protest. Yeah, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that is carried. Thank you. 8.2, bylaw 8, 2024, loan to Richard CDC, second reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Pelletier.
We gave first reading at the previous meeting. This is just a I take that back. It's not a formality. It's up for council discussion, but this is to make a loan. We've discussed the terms at the first meeting, and hope that council proceeds with the bylaw.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Council discussion, debate, anything to comment on? None? Okay,
Here.
call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None, that is carried. Thank you. 8.3, bylaw 8, 2024, loan to Richard CDC, third reading. Councillor Belanger moves it, second by Councillor Pelletier.
Nothing more to say.
Thank you. Final thoughts from council, any debate that has to happen before we make the final decision?
Some opportunities there.
So looking
Forward to see what happens.
Okay, call for the question. Those in favor, opposed, none, that is carried. Thank you. Moving on to 8.5, correct, bylaw 10, 2024, organizational first reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor 1, second. Councillor J.
Okay, thing that council is now just past their midway point of their 4-year term. We always come back and take a look at our organizational bylaw and procedural bylaw, just to ensure that everybody's happy with the list of committees that they're sitting on, et cetera, et cetera. We are making 2 additions to the committees, the planning and landfill that we notice is not part of the organizational bylaw, as well as to what these 2 committees are responsible for. So that's embedded in the bylaw itself. Schedule A, there are some minor changes regarding the Crow Wing Trail, where we will be appointing a staff member to attend. The councillor will be off the hook on that one. But are there any other changes, draft changes, trades, et cetera, to be done?
Do we have an alternate for the Crow Wing Trail?
I was the alternate, I believe.
Yeah, I was first and Jean was alternate. So I don't know if Shane gets this, if you'd want to have another member of rec as an alternate, or
Or you could keep Councillor Bondarchuk as an alternate. I'm fine with that. Are you okay with that, Councillor?
I don't know. I was going to take the alternate for Rat River Health District that Mr. Joel wanted.
It's up to council if we even need an alternate. I was just suggesting Councillor Bondarchuk because he's been so well informed in this situation as it is now. So, but if council's okay without it, it's okay.
But we will add Councillor Bondarchuk for the Red River Health District as the alternate.
That's fine. Yeah.
No, it's in my hearing.
My ear just flew out of my ear.
Okay, we'll do that. Any other changes?
That one I wasn't sure about. I think WMR, is it not?
We discussed that it would be no alternate unless they requested another member from council. If Councillor Pelcher can attend, it would be the mayor, but we would not add an alternate. That's
Right, so right now it has
It's backwards.
your worship
Oh, I
and
thought,
then.
I thought we discussed that already. Yeah, the removal of the mayor and the addition of Councillor Pelcher as the main and no alternate.
Okay.
You're good with that? You were, I don't think you were at that meeting when we talked about it, were you? Just made more sense for them to ask us to bring in if you weren't around.
Okay, we'll do those changes.
Just a small correction, I'm looking logo there, so Rat River Health Council instead of district.
We'll open that. Okay, no problem. Then,
That's it for changes. Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that is carried. Thank you. 8.7 bylaw 12, 2024 fees and charges. Oh, no, did I read that? No,
Procedural.
sorry, 8.6 bylaw 11, 2024 procedure, first reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelcher, second. Councillor Lemoine.
okay, basically same as the organizational bylaw, just doing a review, some minor changes. We've added department reports as part of the list on the agenda, as well as the CFO report. Also changing some rewording on 9.3 regarding delegations and basically giving the CEO the authority to juggle delegations as I would see fit. I'll do my best. The other items is regarding the right to may limit delegation to 10 minutes. That will be up to the chair. We put may, so it could extend past the 10-minute mark. And again, the limit to 15 minutes for public hearings for presentations from the public. Again, that is a may as an extension. So
No, I think those are good additions. Anything else? Sorry, debate, discussion from council? No, good changes. Okay, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that's carried. 8.7 bylaw 12, 2024 fees and charges, first reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Bylaw was last reviewed in 2023, 6-2023, so I'm assuming it was for the year 2023 and 2024. Good to review these on a timely basis to ensure that we are not falling behind the curve. So in comparisons with other items, we've tried to align our fees. The 3 points regarding the first one would be in the administration part. We're proposing to change the dog licensing for the life of the dog and not on a yearly basis of renewal. It becomes maybe a little bit a pain for administration on a yearly basis. We hope that it would also encourage users to register their dogs if it is for the lifetime of the dog. The other change in B, as a result of adding a Part 3 building inspector, we're adding the commercial fees because we did not have those before. And in C, regarding planning and zoning, just to reflect the current planning act of what is allowed under a minor variance or minor change from 10% to 15%.
Perfect. Council discussion. I like the life of the dog thing. It's
I do
a
too.
great
It's a
idea. It's a
great
dog
idea.
one that'll encourage people to want to license their animals instead of doing it just once and then forgetting about it for 25 years.
Wishful thinking. But I like how you.
I try. Councillor Lemoine?
Schedule D4, so that commercial bit, we're talking, whatever, 600 square meters, but we're pricing, three. We're talking in meters, but we're pricing per square foot, that common, whatever.
Because we are bilingual. Yes, we tend to do a little bit of both. The square foot is easy 50 cents because it's a nice round half number.
Yeah.
But the code is using the square meters.
Yeah.
We conform under NAFTA, North American Free Trade, so we're using those measurements. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
I just have a question about and this is just to clear up my brain, the minor variance application. Greater than 15% is 100 and major is less than 15%. So if I come in with a minor area application and I'm over the 15%, then I have to pay, right? But on the major, if I'm under 15%, then I have to pay?
There's still a minor fee to pay if you're under the 15. I think those arrows are mixed up.
That's
We'll
what I was
clarify
wondering.
that.
Okay,
So for a minor variance, anything under 15% will be $100.
okay,
Anything over is a major, and that is a $300 application.
okay. Yeah, so my over and under are mixed up. That's
Then,
greater than or different, yeah.
exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Again, bilingual.
Bilingual. It's there.
Not really. Okay,
Anything
thank
else
you.
from council? Call for the question, all those in favor, opposed, none, that is carried. 8.8 bylaw 13/2024 parking, first reading, do I have a mover? Councillor Bodarchuk, second, Councillor Pelletier. Sorry, keep forgetting your name, 2 years.
As a result, and this is a little bit painful, and I'm hoping to find a better measure than going through 3 readings of a bylaw, but we're just trying to update the growth in the added streets, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all we're doing. We're adding streets in Ile des Chênes, St. Adolphe, and Grand Point in the Schedule 8. So I'm gonna try, talk to legal to see if we could find a better way than doing it via a bylaw. If we could change the schedules without a bylaw,
Yeah,
then that would
Blanket bylaw.
would be better,
covers
but
the-
we'll have a quick discussion.
Councillor
If you
Pelletier,
did it like regulation, like the province does, where it's the law and then the statute.
I think regulations don't work for municipalities.
Okay.
So.
Stuck with
not.
the three
Mhm.
prong process. There's gotta be a way.
There's gotta be a way.
Okay, anything else?
Reach up with.
Anything else from council? Call for the question, all those in favor, opposed, none, that is carried. Moving on to 9.2.1, release letter of credit, Grand Point Meadows, Phase 3B, North Grassy Developments. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second, Councillor Pelletier.
This is in regards to Grand Point Development, their Phase 3B, inspected by the engineers and our Public Works, and recommendation of Public Works to release the letter of credit. For those wondering what that is for, please view the Stantec warranty inspection. It has a map of the affected areas.
Thank you. Council, any comments or questions on the credit release?
No, pretty straightforward, that one.
Call for the question, all those in favor? Opposed, none, that is carried, thank you. 9.2.2, releasing letter of credit, Grand Point Meadows, Phase 5A, North Grassy Developments. Do you have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second, Councillor Belanger.
Similar to the previous item, however, this is for Phase 5A. Again, referred to the Stantec warranty inspection. It has a map of the affected area.
Thank you. Council discussion, debate, questions?
There's still a highlighted item on that one for crack curb on Grand Point Meadows and Turtle Head Lake.
So are you recommending we don't proceed, Councillor Pelletier, or one clarification?
I would ensure that that gets looked after.
Before there's no money left.
I'm not opposed to it because they're not going anywhere. Just make sure that we follow up on that highlighted.
And that location was
It says west radius of Grand Point Meadows and Turtle Head Lake.
You want to create like a timeline that has to be done?
likely won't get fixed till spring.
Saying to be completed by and with the letter of credit approval, release of letter of credit approval.
What was the credit on that one? Sorry.
39,000.
Just my opinion.
My recommendation would be to release it, as Councillor Pelletier mentioned, they're not going anywhere. They still have phase 6, 7, 8 in the works. They're gonna come to you for phase 9 as well, so they've been very good to deal with.
Okay.
I would have no issue that this will get resolved.
I will call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried 4-1. 9.3.1 MB Grow Grant IUC Fire Hall. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Province announced a program called the Grow Grant. Basically, we have two projects that we would like to apply for. One would be for the Ile des Chênes Fire Hall, which is this resolution. The other one is regarding some Grand Point active transportation, which will be the next resolution. Just to solidify the application with the resolution of council supporting the project. Ile des Chênes has been on our minds for quite a while. Hoping to get this done. We're working with TC Energy and trying to acquire some land in order to do so. If we are successful with the funding, we'll definitely look at the next steps moving forward from there.
Thank you. Council, open up for discussion, debate. Okay. Call for the question. Thank you. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That's carried. And moving on to 9.3.2 Manitoba Grow Grant Grand Point Active Transportation. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Pelletier.
Similar to the first application, this one is less funding, but still very important for the Grand Point area and for active transportation. I believe we're looking at putting some bridges over the Seine River, et cetera, to connect these nice trails that we do have in our municipality.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Council, comments, debate? None. Call for question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That's carried. 9.3.3 October 2024 Building Permit Report. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Pelletier.
Month of October, 22 permits, $5.8 million in value, 17,700 in building fees, bringing us to year-end date of 191 permits, 45 million in value, 164,000 in permit fees. Slightly up from where we were last year in permits, value, and building permits. I guess last year at this time, October 23, really was Debbie Downer. So things have picked up.
We'll take it. No Debbie Downers this year. Thank you, Mr. CEO.
Yeah, no, looks great.
Council, any comments, thoughts? None. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That is carried. Thank you. And item number 12, adjournment. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine. Final thoughts for the evening? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That is carried. I'll close the meeting at 8:09 p.m. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in, and have a great rest of your evening. Stop recording.